Hey everybody, it's Parvati from agoodwife.net. I'm a West Indian American homemaker and a wife and mother to 3 beautiful children, and I like to share content about motherhood, birthing tips, healthy recipes, mainly sourdough. And today in this video, I'm just going to be sharing with you guys my experience going through stage 3 of the GAPS diet. Okay, so I'm on stage 3 of my GAPS diet. I guess I'll be explaining to you guys some of the stuff that's going on. I've introduced eating avocado into my diet. I bought some raw kefir. I have been eating scrambled eggs and introducing a few different, I think like some lightly roasted chicken. I had some chicken wings and some sauteed vegetables. I've had some sauteed kale. And all that is stage 3. So all of that was digested fine. So soon enough, I will be moving on to stage 4, where I forgot what's added in stage 4. I think it's carrot juice and cabbage juice. I'm going to have to buy a juicer. So I'm probably going to be on stage 3 for a little bit longer because I don't know when I'm going to get a juicer. So yeah, when I get one, you'll see me juicing. I'm making it for you, honey. I'm making it for you. So, also on top of that, my middleest son is also on the GAPS diet with me. And just like me, he's pretty much like at this point going through what might be called withdrawals. I don't know, but he's just feeling sick because of the die-off effect that his body is having to not eating any sugar. I'm just taking care of him right now. I'm dry brushing him. I'm about to give him some broth and make him feel better. So basically just feeling exactly how I was feeling a few weeks ago. And I know he's gonna come back all right on the other side and feel better. Yeah, I'll get back to you guys when I have a juicer.
It's just this day for me and my mom.
That's what my oldest son thinks because he's not gonna be able to run around and get into stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna come back on here when I have a juicer. Right now I'm just about to feed him some broth, and basically this is just stage 3 of my GAPS diet journey. All right, dry brush. All right. Drink a canned tea, or you just gonna have some broth? Yeah. You want some Vicks?
It looked like it's spelling, and that guy was looking.
Where was this? What country is this? You said Chinese?
I think this is like Southeast Asia somewhere around there.
You just don't know where exactly.
Yeah. I think this on too long.
Say, why am I in the cage? Where are you going, Lily? When I was a baby, what was he a cop when I was a baby?
Yeah, when I saw Granddad do it.
I don't know, because when I was a baby, you weren't alive, so I'm not sure.
So I saw.
So I just wanted to come on here and talk about my experience. So since being on the GAPS introduction diet, a lot of things have changed. I can feel what my body needs versus I can feel what my body is calling for and what my body needs way better than normally. Okay, so I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit about have been feeling since being on the GAPS diet for I think maybe about like 4 weeks now. More so just talking about my experience with that diet. So I'm still on it right now, but what I will say is that it's not exactly going how I would like, and I'll explain why, which is basically I didn't plan good enough. I didn't plan good enough for what would have been expected of me to keep putting into my mouth. Okay, so for example, with the broths, I only made like 4 different types of soups, and I haven't been back to the store yet to buy any more meat to make my meat stock. So that's like the biggest thing that I have not prepared for with starting this diet, is understanding how much meat stock or how much meat stock, meat stock I was gonna need to be able to keep this up, because to be honest, that is a extreme pillar of this diet, is making sure that you have a adequate amount of meat stock prepared and ready to go. And for me, I've gotten really overwhelmed once school started for my kids on the 19th of August. A lot of stuff started to just overwhelm me, and I wasn't making soups anymore. And since I entered into, I believe it's the 3rd stage, was the 4th stage of the GAPS diet, I was able to eat vegetable pancakes and able to eat stir-fried veggies and stuff like that. So that kind of overshadowed the amount of meat stock that I was supposed to be consuming, because I had other options. So to me, that was like a downside, but that's not any fault to anyone else besides myself, obviously, because I wasn't prepared enough. So my advice before you start the GAPS diet is that you're not very hungry, because if you're trying your best to stay on the diet and eat the things that they're telling you to eat, it's very difficult if you don't have any of those things, or if you're not making any of those things or anything like that. Like even right now, I still haven't made my own homemade sour cream up until right now, or any sauerkraut or fermented veggies. I literally had to go buy some from Costco. I bought some sauerkraut from Costco, and that was way after I ran out of meat broth. I didn't even get to do the whole thing where you're supposed to put some of your like fermented vegetable juices in your meat stock. I didn't even get to do that. But I will once I make some more meat stock, but I have to go back to the store. My advice to anybody wanting to start this GAPS diet, for any problems that you may have, whether that's like Hashimoto's, if you have a thyroid issue, you may have a mood disorder or anything like that, start small with like gathering your supplies first before you go head in. I have a lot of Aries in my chart. If you're into you know, the zodiac or just like Eastern astrology or anything like that, so I'm very like forward about different things that I want. I'm gonna go get it very quickly and just kind of mindlessly ram to do whatever it is that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like my personality a little bit. But if you can plan ahead better to make sure that you have all the supplies that you need, be able to be successful in the introduction stage of this diet and not be hungry a lot of the times, is you're definitely going to need some chicken, beef, lamb, or even fish. Whatever it is that your meat of choice is, you're going to definitely need that. So my advice would definitely be to go to the store and stock up on meats. Whatever meat it is that you want to have, whether that's fish, beef, lamb, chicken, so that you can go ahead and make your own homemade meat stock and make a lot of it, and jar it or can it and put it in your refrigerator or freeze it, so that whenever you're ready to have that meat stock, you make sure that you always have it, and you won't be going through a situation where you don't have it and you're just kind of like now having to wait or something like that. So making sure that you stock up on some prebiotics, whether that looks like kefir for you or that may look like sauerkraut or fermented veggies, or maybe you ferment your own veggies. But to me, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but if you're really just trying to start and you don't want to take forever, buy some pre and probiotic items from a store that you trust or a brand that you trust. And for me, that looks like a few different products. I'll probably show you guys later the kefir that I got and some of the probiotics that I got. One of like the biggest pros, or the biggest shockers of being on this diet postpartum is how quickly my tummy slimmed down. As a postpartum mom, it really helped me slim down my tummy very, very fast, like within the matter of like 3 days. Now, granted, my stomach wasn't huge, but it still was very bloaty, 3 months pregnant looking tummy. You know what I mean? So within being on this diet, and essentially the diet is like a light fasting is what you're doing, because you're not snacking and you're not having any heavy meals, but you are gaining an exacerbated amount of nutrients from having that meat stock and having the probiotics and the prebiotics. So that really helped me slim down my midsection, which was really, really great. Like, I was ecstatic about that, which is really, really cool. Because I realized that a lot of the issues that I may have been having with bloating and all these things is just due to a overrun of bad bacteria in my gut that need to be cleared out through a means of kind of, I guess some people might call it like extreme, depending on who you talk to. They might think that just eating meat stock and soups is kind of extreme. But that's really more so the beginning of the intro diet, like the first and second stage. Once I hit third stage, I think that was when I started to try and incorporate some avocado. For me, it was raw avocado. For me, I didn't have a good reaction from that at first. I did have a bad reaction in the form of like loose stools and stuff. And I know in the book that I'm going to show you guys right here, that means you're supposed to go back to whatever the stage was previously. So that's what I did for a couple of days, and then I slowly introduced the avocado back in, and I didn't have any issues with the avocado then. So I eat avocado now, and it really feels nourishing to my gut. And just entering into stage 3, my cravings went away for sugar. My cravings went away for like chips, and I'm like a chip person before, being on the GAPS diet. I was like always my snack of choice, and I'd be begging my husband to get me some chips from the store. But now, since entering into the third part of the GAPS diet, when I was I think it was like a few weeks ago, I didn't want any chips no more. I don't have any desire for chips at all. I don't have any desire for sugar or sweets or muffins or nothing like that. And that to me is like a really amazing benefit, because that's telling me that those bad actors in my gut are being flushed away. I realize that a lot of times with the foods that we eat, it's not even about nourishment. It's just about that mouthfeel that people are looking for. It's like this pleasure sensory going on in their mouths that's making them want to eat these chips and all these different things like that. Because after being on the GAPS diet and experiencing having meat stock and experiencing how amazing that makes my gut feel and how nourished it makes me feel, I realized that chips and charred foods and stuff like that, it really just, when I think about it and I see it, it just makes me feel like it's really damaging to your gut lining, because it's so hard. Your body really has to do a lot to break that down. So at this time, I'm just not interested like how I used to be in potato chips. I'm really not. I really do not have a desire to eat those. I feel like that because I've taken out so much time to cleanse out those organisms that are feeding off of those chips. I feel like if I was to backslide and start eating those things again, then I'd probably have a craving to have those things, because I'm now going back and getting the bad actors and putting them back in my body so that they can now proliferate and ask for more and more and more. But at this point now, I'm really focusing on doing fasting in the early part of the day and then breaking my fast with a meal that has like protein, vegetables, beef, chicken, fish, and vegetables. Those are the things that I'm looking to break my fast with. I would say that this week was my experimental week. I think I'm still on stage 4, which is the stage where you can have your vegetable pancake, and the stage where you're supposed to eat like scrambled eggs and sauteed onions and introduce carrot juice. Now that's the one thing I have not done, is introduce any carrot juice into my diet yet, mainly because I can't find none. It's very, very difficult in my area to find just regular carrot juice with just carrots in it and nothing else. I might have to just like break down and accept having carrot juice with a little bit of orange juice in it, because I really don't want to do that because I'm not supposed to have citrus. So I really don't know. I'm probably just gonna have to buy a juicer. So I'm kind of stuck right now between stage 4 and stage 5 because I have not introduced the carrot juice. But what I will say is that this week, the last week of August, I have been experimenting and seeing what things I can take and what things I cannot take. So for example, I had a half of a raw apple before I went to bed. And when I woke up the next day, I didn't feel bad or anything like that, but I did have like a slight, it felt like I had a slight inflammatory response to it. Nothing like with the peaches that I explained to you guys in my last video, but it was like a slight feeling of like, I feel a little bit different. I also didn't even mention to you guys that I'm like no longer in any pain at all since being on the GAPS diet. No longer in any pain. I don't eat carbs. I don't eat carbs in the form of starches. Mainly that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. I don't eat any starches. I don't eat any rice, potatoes, beans. You know, if you're familiar with the GAPS diet, then you already know all the things that I'm not eating. But I don't eat any starches. And ever since I've taken the starches out of my diet and sugars, like cane sugar and stuff like that, I do eat maple syrup and honey. I'm no longer in any pain. Through going through this experience, I'm realizing how much inflammation I actually had in my body because of the different foods that I may have thought were healthy and I may have thought they were good for me, even though it may have been yuca or it may have been, you know, a sweet potato or something like that. For me, at this state of my health, eating those types of starches were bad for me. It was not something that was healthy for me specifically, because the foods that I just named off are healthy foods, but for me right now in the situation I'm going through, it's not good for me. So back to this week, me testing out different foods and having a slight inflammation response to eating the apple. Now what I will say is I was supposed to cook that apple down and I didn't do it. So don't be like me and have a raw apple. I did peel it though, but you're supposed to cook it down. I didn't do that. I might try cooking it down next time and seeing the reaction that I get. Last week, at the beginning of last week, it was 2 weeks ago, I think, I bought some raw kefir. It was the first time I ever had raw dairy in my life. And I was very skeptical and a little bit scared to take it or taste it or even have it. I just took like a tablespoon of it because I know it's good for me, but it's just my first time. So I was just like slightly apprehensive, but I really feel like it was just my body, like internally speaking, like my gut buddies were scared because they know what it's about to do. Like it's about to clear out some things, and that's exactly what it did. Like within the next 30 minutes, like my body was being cleared out. It was being cleared out the basement, I guess, right? Yeah, the basement. The basement of my body got cleared out and I was like amazed. So I try my best to have at least like 3 tablespoons of the kefir and build up on that every day. And also I had made some popsicles. Maybe I'll share with you guys later in this. It's not really a vlog. It's just kind of like just a video of me explaining stuff to you, but I can add that in, showing you guys how I make some kefir popsicles for me and my son. Also on the topic of my son, I wanted him to do the GAPS diet with me as well. But like I said, he's kind of joining me on the point where I no longer am super prepared, and he's not like me in the sense where he'll eat a lot of soups. So I'm realizing now that I'm gonna have to start him over on the GAPS diet and hide his meat stock in hot cocoa. That's gonna be my little trick for him, is that since I want him to be on the GAPS diet, but he's not like wanting to eat a lot of these different things, especially the main thing that you have to eat, which is the meat stock. He doesn't want to eat that. I'm just gonna put that in his hot cocoa and make him some homemade marshmallows, and every day he'll have a cup of that. I'm trying to figure out if there was anything else that I wanted to share with you guys that I'm experiencing. Just to recap, I'm not in any pain anymore. My pain has completely gone. Okay. Besides like the pain that I have in my lower coccyx bone that's not related to inflammation, I go to the chiropractor for that, as I have like a slip disc. Be prepared. Make sure you have the food that you need to be on the GAPS diet. Don't slack off. And if you can't move to another stage, just, I guess, be like me and stay at a certain stage. I have not incorporated, no wait, I think I did try making some type of almond bread, but even though it tasted good, my body just didn't want it. So I had made like an almond loaf breakfast bread for the family, and my body just was like, no, nah. It just didn't feel right to me, so I didn't eat any more of that. Kind of like just pretty much what's been going on. I'm back home now. My door that was kicked in, the maintenance people like halfway fixed it. They fixed it halfway. We have a door stopper now. We have a door stopper, a door jammer, and we bought a Ring doorbell. We can basically see whoever is at our door. So that's really good. It adds another layer of security. But in all, we're definitely looking to save up our money and move into a more private residence, into a more private home instead of living in an apartment. I'm going to end it off right here, and I'm going to show you guys some of my little recipes for my GAPS diet. I'm going to show you guys the popsicles made with the raw kefir. I did want to make some fudgesicles, but I just don't have any cacao at all. I don't have any cocoa at all, so I can't even make that. And when I make my son his homemade marshmallows and the meat stock cocoa, at some point I'm going to show you guys that. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that in this video, because this video is going to be live tomorrow, which is Saturday. So I'm really just trying to wrap it up and basically just tell you guys how everything has been going with me being on the GAPS diet. Through being on this diet, I just realized how much overeating I do, or how much just unnecessary snacking I do just throughout the day. Like, it's not, you don't always need to be having something in your mouth. And I guess, as my husband would say, my excuse was that I would give the whole, oh, I'm breastfeeding excuse, you know, and maybe for some women who's not going through like digestive issues, maybe you can snack all day and that's fine, but that really is putting a lot of pressure, on your organs to have to always be constantly digesting food all the time, always be constantly having to filter and do something. So it's nice to give your body some rest from doing all that digestion, because for me personally, my digestion is slower than what I would like. So through realizing that, I don't eat as much at all. I definitely fill my snack schedule, if you will, like the area in my brain that wants a snack, I just kind of like fill that with tea. I'll just make some chamomile tea, I'll make some matcha tea, I'll make black tea, coffee, whatever it is. a beverage, and I'll just have that. And that really makes me feel good. Also, one of the fruits that I can eat that doesn't cause me any problems is like a ripe banana. I don't have any problems with that. For some reason, fruits that are more watery, like apples and things like that, I'm having a hard time with. I did have some blueberries. I had 3 blueberries, and that was okay as well. I didn't have a bad reaction from that. I'm gonna hop off of here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And I really appreciate you tuning in to my channel and hearing about my experience on the GAPS diet. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one, okay? Bye. Thank you.